Good morning, I hope you're keeping well and welcome to this video on using Zoom in your tutoring business. Before we get started properly, I'd like to give you a bit of background and explain how I've come about using Zoom in the last few weeks for my online lessons. I started Starr Tutoring back in 2012, Starr was my maiden name, and I started the business partly because I was nagged into it by a friend, but also partly to subsidise the part-time job that I had at the time and try and give myself some stimulation, put my degree back into use. Within 6 months, I left that job and Starr Tutoring became my full-time business. And within 18 months, I had more work than I was able to cope with. Over the years, the business has grown and grown, and I've now got half a dozen people working for me. And in 2019, we decided that we were going to franchise the business. So the business is now ready to franchise and take it from strength to strength. However, one of the things that we'd always prided ourselves on was the fact that every lesson would take place in the comfort of the student's own home. We would always travel to the students. And that was a great selling point, especially as a lot of the children we worked with had some form of learning difficulty, such as autism or attention deficit disorder or dyslexia, etc. But it meant that they were learning in an environment where they felt confident and secure, which was more likely to help them learn. However, obviously in March this year, we went into lockdown and I had two options: either stand by my principles and say every lesson that we do is going to take place in the comfort of your own home, which meant I wouldn't have a business now, or we could do what seemed to be the sensible option, and that was adapt and grow. For the first week or two, we used either Skype or Facebook Messenger, and both are good options, but Messenger doesn't give you the Messenger video, sorry, doesn't give you the option to type in comments, and also I found that the video is very often quite glitchy. So Skype is better, but it still doesn't have as many things to offer as Zoom does. But I don't know why, because I was under the impression that Zoom was going to be very expensive to use, but one of the tutors that works with me suggested Zoom, that was what she was going to use. And it's brilliant, and it's now what I predominantly use for the lessons while we are working online. And going forward, after the lockdown finishes, I think we will continue to offer a two-tier service. We will continue to offer online lessons because for some people it's actually working really, really well. And we will also continue to offer lessons in your own home, but in the student's own home, sorry. But I know there's probably a lot of people who, like me, tutored in the physical environment before this all started and who haven't had the knowledge of how to take their lessons online, perhaps apart from using something like Facebook Messenger. So I thought I'd bring you this short video as an alternative method that you would use. I'm still new to Zoom and there's a lot I have to learn about it, but hopefully even just these foundation steps will be enough for you to get your business back online, excuse the pun, back up and running, and get you working again so that the children you were supporting previously will be able to grow or will be able to continue learning with you. And if you're new to tutoring, maybe this is just a step that you could use to get your business going in the meantime, and maybe it's one that you'll continue to use thereafter. So let me start. One of the main things with Zoom, I'm actually recording this on Zoom now, is the fact that we can sit and just talk to each other like this, like you would on Skype. So I would, in theory, be able to see you and you would be able to see me sat here. Some people prefer not to turn their video on, which means that it's just a one-way system. So you would be able to see me, but I wouldn't be able to actually see you. That's fine. It does make it a bit harder because I found that when you're working with someone, very often their facial expressions gives you an idea of how they're getting on. So if you have to try and guess what facial expression it is they're pulling, that means you're also having to try and guess how they're getting on with the thing they're doing at their end, which obviously is a disadvantage, but you can get through it. So how to use Zoom? Let me just share my screen with you. Bear with me, sorry. Back to Zoom. And share screen. Okay, to sign up to Zoom, literally all you need to do is come up to zoom.com. I don't think that actually typed anywhere. Zoom.com. I don't know whether this will even let me do it since I'm already online. And it will bring you up to the homepage. Okay. I only have free membership and I find that's working perfectly well for me. It's a free membership. And it's going to tell me about their cookies. Agree. Okay. Free membership offers you, here we go, you can host a meeting with up to 100 participants. You can have unlimited one-to-one meetings. If there's going to be a group, then you're limited to 40 minutes. Unlimited number of meetings, ticket support, video conference. So basically, this is the free package that I use, and I find that's perfectly adequate. However, you may decide that you want to go with pro, business, enterprise. That's entirely obviously at your discretion. But so far, I found that the free package works perfectly acceptably. If I ever need to update, then I will do. And so from here, choose the package that you're going to need, click on sign up or buy now, whichever one it is that you're wanting to do, and it will take you through a series of steps. It will send you an email to confirm your membership or that you've signed up. Just double check that it hasn't gone into your spam folder, because that has happened with other people that I've worked with. Once you are a fully fledged member, you will end up with a page like this. Okay, these are normally more predominant. It's just that I'm already sharing my screen with you and I'm already in a meeting, so I can't join another one. With Zoom, I can schedule a meeting and I could do it for, you can put in the time. So for example, I might put in Dawn's meeting. I tell you what, let's make one up. Dawn's lesson with Samantha. Oops. Today, and let's pretend we're going to make it at 3 o'clock, 1500, and it's going to last for an hour. And it fills in the blanks for you, and then you just at the bottom click schedule, and that's as easy as that. Then once it's scheduled the meeting for you, so I've probably got too many windows open now, so I'm going slow. While I'm waiting for this to schedule, what I can do is, if I knew I was going to have a lesson every week with with Samantha, there is a button there where I could make it I could repeat the lesson every week, so each week I wouldn't have to go in and do this. It would just be there automatically for me to just send the invitation each week if I wanted to, or it may be that you wouldn't need to, but I would suggest that you probably do, just to have as a prompt for the family. And then once it's scheduled, you get a box up like this, and next to the box there's these 3 small arrows here. If you want to copy the invitation, which would mean that that would give you something you could then email or message to the family, so that they knew when the lesson was scheduled for, and it would also give them the link to get into Zoom. You can edit it if actually I put it in at 3 and I meant to do it at 3:30, or you can delete it completely if that wasn't actually something you wanted to do. Once you've sent your invitation to the other person, it will bring up, I don't know if no, I don't think I can bring it up right now, but it will literally bring up a link with a password and a key number, and all they need to do to actually get into the lesson is type in their key number. I don't think they'd need the password as well, but that's all within the body of the email, so it's all there for them to use. They would then, once they've got that far, it would ask them if they wanted to join with audio, which just click on that, and then that way, unless you've got some separate, and this would be the same for you as well, hosting a meeting. Well, unless you've got a separate microphone or something, then you would just use computer audio. It's as easy as that. When the time comes, it would say Dawn's lesson with Samantha starts in 5 minutes. There's a button, or 4 minutes, whatever. There's a button here that says start. And normally I can't do it at the minute because I'm already in a lesson or I'm already in a Zoom call. But normally I'd be able to just click on start, and that would take you back through to where we were originally, which was when we were chatting on this screen. Oh, if I can bring it up. Can I let me come back into the full screen? Sorry, like I say, I haven't been doing this overly long, and I am still learning. I tell you what, rather than back here, so I pressed the wrong button and I lost you for a moment. Okay, once we come back into the main panel, there was a panel down the bottom. Once we're back into the main screen, there's a panel down the bottom where it offers you the opportunity to mute the other person's microphone, stop or start their video. We've got security options, which means that if your next lesson is going to be starting in the next few minutes, you can enable a waiting room, so they can't come into the lesson that you're already in. They're kind of like put on hold elsewhere. But to be honest, I'd probably suggest that you leave 20-minute gap between lessons anyway, just so that you've got time for quickly spend a penny, or grab a cup of tea, or just have a quick chat with the family that you've been working with before moving on to the next one. You can manage participants in the next box, and that just literally means that if I'm doing a lesson with this person, that I can either ask someone to leave or I can invite someone else in from there. And it also offers us a chat panel, and this is really, really useful because it means that if you want to confirm something just quickly, or I just want to, if you're working with more than one person at a time, so I just want to send a message privately to you, there's the option there to send to just you or you or you. And so you can just type a private message to them discreetly if you want to. The next button along is share screen, and this is where it gets really useful because it gives us features like this. Actually, I'm going to come back to that in a second. Stop share. I'm going to show you some of the other ones first and show you this one instead. So for example, we could do things like, why is that doing that one? Let's get back to here. What you can do is, at the top of the screen now, you should have a button that says annotate, and I would have the same. It may not work because this obviously isn't live, but then we can both play interactive games like this. So for example, when I'm doing times tables with someone, we might do times noughts and crosses. So for example, imagine we're working on the 5 times tables today. So by clicking, and both of us clicking annotate, I'll go first, and I would go 9 times 5 is 45, and I could claim this square. And then you'd have your go, and from your end you'd be able to pick your square and go 7 times 5 is 35, and in your colour you would go here. So it's not very neat, but it gives you the idea. So we can both play, we can both interact with the whiteboard. You may, sometimes, I'm not sure why, but if you click on the panel at the top, if you click on more, and then there's an option to allow them to control your screen, but I think it should be enough just to give them the option just to allow them to annotate. So we can both very easily play games like this and annotate the screen using that. Something else that I found, hang on, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I have to clear all my drawings and then it might take that away. Is yesterday I was working on this with a young lad. It's from Teach It Maths, it's quite a good sheet. There's 3 different pages of questions, but what we were able to do was, if you go back up to the top and where it says annotate, there's a button that says text. So if you click on that and then click on the screen, you're able to actually type in here. So say we were working on question E, what we could do is, Ali, I can actually show you my working out from my end. So Ali gets 5 shares. Obviously I'll do this a bit, I'd explain it with a bit more detail to the person I was working with, but it gives you an idea. His 3 shares are worth £900. So what we'd do is 900 divided by 3 to work out what 1 share is. Oops. We know that 1 share equals £300. And then what I was doing was I was just moving that to the top of the, once we'd finished it, I was leaving that at the top of the screen. So the next time we came across a similar question, I could say, oh, it's the one that worked out like this. And then I can say we're moving on to another question that we needed support with, then I could again just click on text and start a new explanation here. I could click on clear and that gets rid of everything, or I could leave it there and it's there for them to use for later on when we're doing different working out. So that's been really, really useful, knowing that I can annotate the screen. There's one question, or some of them which were tiny. What we might decide to do is, instead of putting it to the side, you might decide to actually do the writing. Oops, clicked on the wrong one, sorry. You might decide to actually put the writing in the box of the question. And I don't know, just type it here instead. 2 to 10, except again, obviously, or you could ask them to write on it. The only problem is, excuse me, if they write on it, when you move the screen up and down, it moves with you. So that's one reason why you may want to put it to the side. But it is there to explain it. But if you're putting it in the middle of the work, you probably do want to delete it as you go along, just because otherwise, as you move your screen, you've got this moving with you. Okay, let's delete that. Oh, we still have this here. Just going to try and get rid of all this. And say clear all. Okay. There, and come back to stop share. That's it. That's it. Keep forgetting it. Stop share to take you back to here. So, what else would you need to know? That's pretty much it. But for a free service. Oh, something else, sorry, before we go on. If you've been doing something, you can also, at the bottom, there's a button where it says reactions. If you click on there, it gives you the opportunity to clap at the other person or give them a thumbs up. Quite simple, but it's there and it's quite good fun. That's one thing that Skype does have. It has more interactions than Zoom, but I think for everything else that this offers, and the other thing I can do is if we're going to be working on something today, I can send you the link in advance. There's a button in the chats, and that gives you the ability to go into your documents, attach it and send it to them so they've got it in advance or they've got it there and then. So just make it easier for them to have a hard copy if they need to write something down, and vice versa. They can send you something as well, should they desire, which you could then bring up and share on the screen with them if you wanted to. I hope this has been useful. So it's been a bit glitchy in places, but like I say, I've only been using it for a couple of weeks, but already I found huge value in it. We are putting together a membership group. We're calling it the Tutor's Tutor. It's going to cost $4.99 a month. That price won't go up. It'll be fixed for people who join while we're still on lockdown. After that, I will be putting the price up considerably to about £25 a month. Each month, you will get a piece of training like this one sent to you via email to help you grow your tutoring business. You'll also get a tutor's tip, today's tutoring tip, sorry, which is a short nugget of information that you can use. This will come to you weekly as a video, again via email, with a small suggestion of something you could do to help you grow your business. And finally, you'll get a monthly Dawn's Discovery, and that will be a book review on a book that I've read during the month, which I think you could use to help you grow your business. Some months it might be something like, for example, this month it's going to be Will It Make the Boat Go Faster by Ben Hunt Phillips, which is a really, really good book, which takes you through keeping focused and the difference it makes when you do keep focused on your goals. Love that book. Or it might be something like a book that you might use as a comprehension task with children that you're working with if you're doing English with children. If you're a franchisee, obviously you'd be sent the entire set of work. If you're a member in the membership group, we'll send you a couple of extracts that you could put into practice, but either way, we hope you'd find it really, really useful. Again, if you're a franchisee of Clara James Tutoring, we'd also send you a copy of the book. If you'd like to join us, click on the link below or send me an email at, I'll tell you what, let me pop it on the screen. Share screen, this is probably the easiest way to do it, put it to use. Text, info, actually, let's go franchise at Clara James Tutoring. Oh, every time. Tutoring. I've done it again. Tutoring. Franchise at clarajamestutoring.co.uk. Made a bodge of that, but there you go. There it is. And we will send you a link so that you can join us. Have an amazing weekend. Keep safe. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. If you have any questions at all, please do get in touch and I will do my very, very best to help. Take care and speak soon. Bye.